Welcome racers, this is Badgerman, and as you may have seen from my previous couple of videos, I'm really in love with this combination. Daily Race C this week. And this is going to be the last video about it, unfortunately. Maybe on Monday there'll be more, but I highly doubt it. I think I'll just let the rest go and just do some offline that are... They could still be quite fun, but they will not see the light of day unless they are intense. And I don't think they can beat these two races here. This one was from Friday. I did a second one on Friday. You don't get to see that because it was quite boring. And I honestly try not to flex here, but I won by 7 seconds and there was no battles, really. It was boring. The second race, however, will be from Saturday. And both races are quite intense. I can tell you that right now, so... strap in, get some popcorn ready, get some drinks ready, and strap in. Pause the video if you have to. We're starting here P4. We have a Spaniard, Irishman, Italian in front of us, Hungarian, Spaniard, and German behind us with another Spaniard in P8. And immediately, things are kicking off here in turn 2 in the horseshoe. P2 misses the corner quite a bit. P3 goes up the inside. The Italian doesn't quite get the position. They go side by side. The Italian thinks better of it, pulls out of it. And I thought, well, if they're battling this early, then surely this is going to be fun. They make contact again, the Italian up the inside. I have the Hungarian up my inside. He goes through. I struggled to find my brake marker here, and I was way too late. And thankfully, the Irishman decides to open up his steering and gives me a bit of room, and I then take the position. I thought, well, a very sensible thing. If he's watching, T-Burn 21003, I apologize for that. I just missed my brake marker. It was not intentional that I was going for a dive bomb there, but he gives me a bump draft here. He actually works very sensibly, and I thought, you know what? This is a guy I can work with. T-Burn, very sensible there. Unfortunately, he made a bit of a hash of the bus stop chicane, so that lost him a bit of time there. He's down to over half a second now. We get the slipstream of the Italian, who, for some reason, got a penalty. We've talked about the penalty situation. It's not perfect in the bus stop chicane. There are penalties being handed out for track limit infringements that aren't track limit infringements. Certainly not as bad as the ones that you normally see, so it was a bit confusing, a bit weird. But, yeah, we close in on the leader here. We do. And, yeah, we're immediately on him. One corner into lap 2. Unfortunately, he goes defensive here. And I don't know why. I was not intending to go for a move on him. If he just takes the corner normally, everything's fine. But no, he decided he had to go defensive. Then I thought, okay, well, I'm not going to overtake him here. So let's pull back behind him. Lifted a bit just to make sure that I was saving some fuel in the process, and the Irishman takes me around the outside, and I thought, I need to leave him space, but I also want to hook up the apex. And then the Spaniard, you see it on the radar there, go back 5 seconds if you want to, he just sends one down the middle of both of us and pushes the Irishman off the track. And I thought, okay, well, he's one of the more aggressive kind. We're going to skip forward a little bit, in fact quite a long time, because not much happened here, just slipstream running. The Spaniard is pretty close to me, I'm pretty close to the Spaniard in front, and yeah, not much happening. I get really close there in the braking zone, but once we get back to the oval here on lap 3, it's going to be a bit more interesting. I was a bit close there, but not much happening really in the grand scheme of things. It's all about just... strategy, you know, making sure you're staying with the top group for now. And then end of lap 3, I get a massive run on the leader. P3 has completely screwed up the bus stop chicane. I thought, okay, do we work together or not? I thought, nah, this guy's going defensive all the time. I have to get past him. Unfortunately, I completely screw up turn 1. He does as well. The Spaniard that completely screwed up the bus stop chicane that was in P3, or is in P3, he's back on us. He goes defensive again, and I thought, why are you doing that? I tried to cut back on him, get a touch from Rubio, touch we do, and it's all kicking off. And I really hate it here in this moment. I really hate it here. I want this to change. I want this to be different, but it is the way it is. We're in this right now, but I want to get either to the front or let them figure things out. One of the two. I don't care which one. We're 5 in this group now. And there's a massive gap to Cadiz in P6, or Cadiz. Sorry if I mispronounced it there. We're going to skip forward just a little bit as soon as we get onto the oval here. Because, again, not much happened in the bus stop chicane that you can't really overtake there anyway. And then it's the start of lap 5. Once again, we get a massive run, thanks in part to Rubio. Rubio giving us, I think, a bump draft or 2. And I thought this time, you know what? Nah, I'm not going to try this again. He brakes very early and goes super defensive, and then Rubio hits me off track because he wasn't as hesitant as I was. And I lose 2 positions, and Rubio, well, he gets my position, but he also gets a 4-second penalty for pushing me off there. And then I make a complete hash of this corner, lose another position. I was completely discombobulated at this point. I was entirely confused. I thought, what is going on with this group? Bunch of lunatics driving there. But here we are, P5 now. And I said earlier, you know, either I go to the front or I go to the very back of the group. And, well, I made my choice, kind of, by force. But, you know, I wasn't that happy with this. I was kind of happy. Plus, 2 people got penalties here, and we're heading to the pits anyway, and look what happens. Bonk. The Irishman who was in front of me unghosted at the exact moment. We don't change tires. He unghosted at the exact moment I was about to go through him. Thanks, Gran Turismo. Appreciate that one. We fuel up, no tire change. We go back out in the net lead of the race, but also with a 5-second penalty. And I thought, really, for that? For unghosting a car right in front of me when there's nothing I can do about it. Okay, well, we're going to skip forward a little bit because we have a 3-second gap to the Irishman behind, now 2.5. Not much going on. You know, lap 6. P1 is going to pit at the end of this lap, so not that you're confused, like, why is there another car? I lose so much time because I didn't change my tires. And the Irishman was actually really strong. And here I serve my 5-second penalty. Down to 90, 86. Oh my god, that was slow. But I only surprisingly lose 2 positions to the Irishman and the Italian. I thought, you know what, it could have been worse. It could have been a lot worse, to be fair. Could have been in P6 by now. We do actually left the race entirely. We skipped to lap 9 because the Spaniard behind Mane Cadiz actually closed in on me. Or Cadiz, sorry for any Spanish speakers. I'm not a Spanish speaker. I always struggle with the name of that city. I'm just gonna call him Mane. Let's go with that. And he's getting closer. I'm on really worn tires at this point. 9 laps. His are, I think, 3.5, 4 laps old at this point. So he's obviously stronger. P1 and P2 are gone. I think at this point it's just about defending, really, and hoping that I can hold on to a podium spot. I go defensive here. He doesn't follow the slipstream, surprisingly enough. Doesn't go for a move into the bus stop. Obviously, he was way too far behind. And, yeah, I didn't get the perfect run here. And he did. He stayed close enough. And look at the gap now in the top left. 3.5. 3/10. He's getting closer and closer and closer and closer. 2.5. 2/10. 10.5. He took the long way around the outside, though. That wasn't a smart call. He should have stayed in my slipstream for longer if he wanted to make a move into turn 1. He didn't, though. And I overshot the corner slightly, but I was still there. I was still ahead, you know. Look at the radar once more. I was still there. And I go defensive. He tries to go around the outside. And I park the bus there. Absolutely park the bus. He actually hits me from behind. And he gets a 1-second penalty as well. I don't know what for, whether it was for hitting me or whether it was for corner cutting somewhere. I have no idea. Then he sends it up the inside here somewhat, but hesitantly. So I closed the door on him. He wasn't alongside. So I just stay in third place here. He's now battling with the German Lynx in P5 as well. So it's all kicking off. At this point, the top two are gone. Like, there's no doubt about that. The top two are entirely gone. There is no question whatsoever. And it's just about me holding on to P3. I'm just looking in the rearview mirror. This is what you shouldn't do if you're actually a race car driver. You shouldn't just be driving in the mirrors. Or even if you're just a normal car driver, don't just drive in the mirrors, you know? And thankfully for me, Mane Cadiz, or Cadiz, actually completely messed up the bus stop chicane, drops to P6, and Lynx is too far away. So at this point, we're just riding it home in P3 with the tiniest amounts of fuel still left in the tank. And I did breathe a sigh of relief at the end of this race. 18 minutes 30 was not the greatest race time, but we'll take it, you know. We'll take a podium any day of the week. I will gladly take a podium. And then we head on to race number 2. That is Daily Race C as well. You see, Saturday, March 19th, 2022. Once again, the track, the Daytona road course. And this one was a bit more challenging. P8. A lot of people qualified very, very well in this one. So I thought, you know what? This is going to be tricky. Fuel down to 6 for the start here. For some reason, it's going really slowly, but then we're up to about 60 kilometers an hour. And, yeah, I thought, this is going to be a challenge. Obviously trying my best, but a podium would be nice, you know. Podium would be good enough. I'll take any position I can get, honestly. And, yeah, we're getting started right away. Going to power. Mix number 1. And putting on the radar, because we're going to need that if we're in P8. So, immediately in the slipstream of the Croatian, this car, the Mazda RX Vision, it doesn't start very well. It doesn't accelerate very well in the low gears. It has the top speed, doesn't have quite the acceleration. I run a bit wide, immediately lose a position to the Frenchman. So that's great. And I thought, okay, well, that's an interesting start. But then, things happen. Things happen quite interestingly. The Frenchman goes off track, stays off track for some reason. Okay, well, give me the position back then, I'll take it. Then the Croatian gets shoved off somewhat onto the grass there. I don't know what he was doing. You just pull out of the move, mate. It's that simple. Thankfully, he didn't come back to hit me. Then there's the Spaniard on the left there. I tried to get his position, but he is a bit later on the brakes. Try to get the cut back on him. And I'm still on his inside, but it just wasn't working. I get a bit of a slide there. I had to sort of give in. But immediately the top 4 are gone. We're battling over P5 here. Actually, the top 2 are gone, and then P3 and P4 are also gone. And the top 2 are going to be of interest later on. Alan and Android Shelf. Keep an eye on them. We're driving behind Mortimer and Max Kobe. So we're just driving normally, chilling, and trying to see what we can get here. Again, this is just, at this point, you settle into the race. You're trying to get, you know, into your rhythm. And that's exactly what we're doing here. Staying behind Mortimer, staying behind Max. And look at me right there, lifting. Just lifting off. I have no intention to overtake them. I'm not close enough to bump draft. And Max on the grass. Max just completely messes up turn 1. Well, free position. Thank you very much. Then keep your eyes on P4 when he's in the frame next time. Because he's quite far away right now, isn't he? It's about 1.5 seconds maybe. Maybe 2 seconds. It's about 2, maybe even 2.5 seconds actually, looking at it. But I don't know what he was doing here, but he completely messed up this corner. Got a penalty as well. And we got closer and closer to him. So he was not in the best mood I think. He was not in the right mindset. Completely missed. Oh, and the Spaniard gets a massive slide there. Catches it, thankfully, and we're still in the slipstream once more. We're still in the slipstream. We're still, you know, biding our time. Just waiting for when to strike. 4.5 seconds to the leaders. As long as I'm within 7 seconds of the leaders, I have a really good chance of getting myself a, potentially even a win. Once again, we save fuel here. We let the car roll into the corner, then power out of it. Get the slipstream off of Nicky. 3 Spaniards in the top 4. And again, I'm trying to work with Mortimer here, but unfortunately, Nicky... Meanwhile, Max Kobe has left the session. Mortimer... Yeah, Nicky blocked me a little bit there. If he goes up top, it would be easier for me, but of course, he's not obligated to do so. And once again, I let the car roll. And then we hook up turn 1. And at this point, we're going to skip forward just a little bit because not much was happening at this part of the race. We're trying to work together with Mortimer. And he's a bit faster through the infield. I'm a bit faster through the oval. So, you know, it's a give and take. He got the better run onto the oval. I get the better... Well, I get the slipstream for the most part as well. And I get the better run. And then we're going to get to the end of lap 3, and I thought, you know what, let's work together. Me and Mortimer, I had a massive run here. I could have easily gone for the move. I thought, you know what, boop. You get a slipstream, you get a bump draft, and there's P3. Look at P3 up front. He must have had a penalty. So that bump draft really did him well. Oh, they make contact, they come together. Mortimer is past, but Javier gets the better exit. They make contact again and again. And that was Javier off track, which means, I think, that Mortimer is going to get a 2-second time penalty. Exactly. I thought, really, that's just so unlucky. Because I was perfectly able to work together with Mortimer. Like, I was actually very happy. Javier seemed a bit rough on circuit, whereas Mortimer seemed willing to cooperate. So I thought, I prefer Mortimer out of these two. You tell me about the incident. What do you think? Did anyone deserve a penalty? Was it a racing incident? Mortimer, Javier, who deserved the penalty there? Or nobody? Anyway, we gotta work with what we have. We skip forward through the oval. Not much happening here, obviously. And then we head into the bus stop. And Mortimer gets it completely wrong. Starts spinning. I didn't touch him. I thought I did at the time. Thankfully, I didn't, because I think if I did, even though he was already around by the time I would have touched him, I thought if I touch him, I would get a penalty. So I was looking at the penalty thingy. I was like, oh no, am I getting a penalty here? And thankfully, I didn't. But we lost touch to Javier now. And Nicky's behind me. Nicky's closing in more and more. Thankfully, not in time for turn 1. Well, I thought... But boop, he gets me a massive shunt. And I thought, what just happened? Why is he so late on the brakes? Granted, maybe I was a bit early, but I also had more straight line speed, so I had to go. And then I tried to go for a late apex, and he thought I left the door open. So he again hits me, and I thought, really? This is how this guy races. My goodness, have some more awareness, mate. But oh well, we keep going. I unfortunately hit the grass there a little bit. But that's okay. Gap is now almost 7 seconds. I don't like that. I want it to be less than 7 seconds. That's what I said earlier, and I still stick by that. 7 seconds is bad. I can make up 7 seconds. Thankfully, I got a good run onto the oval here compared to the leader. But 7 seconds I can make up in a pit stop. 6.5 also, obviously, but 7.5 is going to be trickier because the lack of tire change. Now I saw for the first time the penalty for Nicky, and I thought, is he going to push me here into the corner? No, he let off. And then I get a half a second penalty here for trying to make the apex. And boop, there it is. So I thought, really, half a second? Then I thought to myself, actually, it's not that bad. because I'm going to pit anyway. So that really just costs me about half a second, which is at this point somewhat fine. So we head into the pits, slow down a little bit here. It didn't even cost me half a second, it cost me like 3/4 tenths. Once again, we don't change tires. Car comes in, we fuel up. I was saving some fuel earlier on, so I only needed to refuel once again to like 92, 93, because I knew that I had to refuel a bit more than the indicator showed. I went to 93, and I was in the net lead. You saw how closely, but I was in the net lead. And there's Alan. And Alan just punts me out of the way, gets me, and I was like, okay, well, another one who is very aggressive in the way he drives. And I thought, you know what, I just need to stick with him. That's all I need to do. I got Android shelf behind me. Remember how I told you to keep an eye out on these two earlier? Exactly. There they are. So I jumped from one group, which was Javier and Lil Nicky, to the top group now, but on worn tires. Their tires are fresh, mine aren't. At this point, I was very happy to work together with Alan. We give him a little shove, a little push, a little bump draft. And again, I thought, can I put in another one? Yep, there's the 3, there's the 2. At this point, I was like, nope, we're just gonna roll into the corner. But I thought I was still far enough away from the apex, from the braking zone, really, that I could still give him another push. And then I thought, you know, we can give him another push. So we do that here. I really was intent on working together. So we're doing that here. Starting lap 7. And again, boop. Trying to get away from Android. Making it a 2-horse race. In hindsight, it wasn't a good idea. In hindsight, it would have been better. Because look what happens here immediately as we get into the infield. Alan pieces out. He's like, I've had enough. Thanks for the bump draft. I'm doing my own thing now. Because my tires were shot. My tires were already 6 laps old at this point. His were 1 lap old. So, big difference there. He just drives off. We're going to skip a little bit. As we then get back onto the oval and towards the bus stop chicane. Android is really close. You see it in the radar. He was less than 10. I completely screwed this up here. And Android wants to get past me. And I thought, okay, maybe we can work together. Okay, maybe not. I hug the inside. I have the shorter run. He runs out of steam. I have the better top speed. So that was always a losing battle for him. I thought, if I can just hug the inside, I can keep him behind me. Well, little did I know. Look at the radar. Man was going to go on to the apex, then pushes me out of the way, almost spins me. What a maniac. You tell me if that's okay. Pass below the apron, as they would say in NASCAR. Pass off the track. Overtake off the track, as they would say in F1 or any other motorsport, really. That's illegal normally. Surprisingly, he didn't get a penalty for that. Not one. And I thought, okay, I mean, that's how you want to race, mate. Quite dirty, quite disgusting. But, again, we move on. We just keep our head down. Don't get too focused on that. I made another mistake there. The tires are really, really tough to handle at this stage. And I still have to do 2.5 laps of this. So I thought, oh, we're in for a treat here. I was looking at the gap to Javier, and we're going to skip to the final moments here. We're on the oval towards the bus stop, lap 10. Javier has caught up with me. Android has caught up with Alan. There's sparks flying. They made contact up front. I thought, what has happened there? They're losing significant amounts of time. And I thought, hey, this might be my chance here. Javier behind screws up the bus stop. He's gone. He's out of it. I looked behind. I was like, where is he? Okay, well. I thought this is going to be P3 for sure. But is any of them going to have a penalty maybe? For some of the contact that they made? And lo and behold, They both had penalties. Here's Android. Here's Alan, the run to the line. And it is a win. On the line, less than a tenth. Alan and Android both had penalties, and I don't know how they happened. Once again, unfortunately, my game crashed after this, but, I mean, I somehow got away with one there. How in the world did that happen? You tell me, because I have no idea. But that's going to be it for me. Thank you very much for watching, and if you enjoyed this, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll be back next week with Nations Cup Manufacturer Series and more Gran Turismo 7 content. Until then, goodbye.